had everything all planned, um, and we were going to drive to Atlanta from Kentucky, where we live, and we're coming to a transition of alongside Asia, and we were going to drive to Atlanta, and we were then going to get a flight out to Idaho, where our youngest son is living with his family. We were going to celebrate Thanksgiving with them, and then we were going to fly back to Atlanta. And then our brother-in-law went into the hospital. He's 87 years old, and he ended up in hospice care. And then on Tuesday, he went to be with Christ. And the funeral is on the day we were supposed to fly 2 days before Thanksgiving. And so we have to uh, we have to postpone that, and we're not going to be able to get a flight right before Thanksgiving. So we'll have to be doing that trip later in the year. Um, but we're so glad that we can we'll be driving tomorrow to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where Cathy's sister, who's 8 years older than she is, almost 90 now, and she and be with her and her two daughters and son-in-law, and we'll be with them for several days to until Tuesday, and the I think the burial is actually the next day on Wednesday, and then we'll be celebrating Thanksgiving with them in Pennsylvania, not in Idaho. And then we will drive from there. I say, if God wills, we will do these things. This is our plan now, that we'll drive from uh, Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Atlanta. And on the 4th of December, we were going to catch this on our way back from uh, Idaho, but now we will arrive there a couple of days before that. And we have our last board meeting of the standalone nonprofit alongside Asia. And we have some other supporters that will be joining us then, and the president of the Great Commission Foundation will be there, and we alongside Asia will live now as a part of the under the umbrella of the Great Commission Foundation. And by God's grace, these moves are all to take as much administration as possible off of our shoulders, so we can step back and focus on three things. The first is on pastoral care for our India, Bhutan, and Nepal partners, the seven ministries that they lead. And well, each one of them, seven people leading seven different ministries in those three countries. And we'll do that primarily by keeping in touch from a distance, but electronically, and but we hope to be also uh, making occasional visits there. Just in parentheses, Mala and Greg Malstead, who were supported in their work uh, with Freedom Firm, are back in India. They've got their visa back, their lifetime visa back after it being taken away from them. And they are there for 6 months now. And then they're looking at a rhythm of 6 months in India and 6 months in the States. We'll see how that develops. But we uh, we just thank the Lord for some real breakthroughs where, as we're dialing back on a number of things, there has been an explosion of the support of workers. And another ministry called Asia Harvest, an Asian mission organization, have come to us and said, we want to support not only the workers that are with your seven ministries that you help, but we want to do it with more. And so this year, as we're dialing down alongside Asia, uh, we have moved from the support of 160 um, uh, Indian and South Asian missionaries um, among unreached people groups, groups that have their own distinct languages. India has the most of these groups in the world, more than 40% of the least reached people groups in the world in India and many in Nepal and Bhutan as well. And the number of workers now, um, with Asia Harvest stepping in, is has mushroomed from at the beginning of the year 160 to 349 at this point. And Asia Harvest has now agreed to take over the administration of that and sending the support directly to the seven ministries, and then they will distribute um, an amount of $80 a month, which goes a long way in India. It's still not a total support level, but it really helps. So we give thanks to the Lord for uh, being able to hand over actually the biggest thing we were doing as far as the requirement for administering it and taking over that off of our plate. And Cathy and I our health is good at this point. We thank God for the long relationship that we've had with Memorial Park, and uh, we started when we were in our uh, early mid 20s, and that was a long time ago. And we just thank God for Memorial Park Church. Just this past week, we received this quarter's support, also for Pramila Rajendran, and we will continue through the Great Commission Foundation now, uh, channel that support to uh, Pramila and some others as well. So the work becomes less. The other two goals we have at this point in life are to uh, just be available to our growing family, which is now four generations from us, with three great grandchildren and 16 grandchildren, and three of the grandchildren married now. And so we want to be available to them. And then finally, making adjustments at this point in our life uh, uh, as we age. And as our brother-in-law just went to glory, we know we're in the queue as well. Thank you.
Not yet, though. Not yet, brother.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. No,
Yeah.
no. Our boots are still
Amen.
on.
Amen. Amen. Appreciate you. Good stuff.
Oh,
Hey, make sure
did-
that I get all the address changes and all that stuff in
yes. Yeah.
advance so that there's no hiccups along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Send them to you yet this week. And
Thank you.
just one thing for prayer. One of the leaders of one of the ministries in West Bengal on the 2nd of November was in the church that they planted in the central city in the middle of West Bengal state. Um, and a group, I don't know how many there were, burst in and they wanted to get to Santos, the leader, and the people in the church surrounded him and protected him. And they said, "You're converting people." And they said, we were not forced to convert." And they spoke to the disruptors and stood up to them. And then later there was the local television that covered it, and Santos was able to speak and so forth on television. But they've decided not to meet on Sundays as in the place where they met, and instead to break out into house groups, and every night, every day of the week, there'll be a house group meeting.
Wow.
And so instead of the one big meeting that because of visibility and so forth, they're dispersing into their homes. And then once a month, they'll go to a nearby city, and they will get everybody together there out of the current city. So they'll bring all the house groups together. So this probably is something that the Lord has allowed for his purposes, and he's going to be working through it.
Another beauty from ashes story, right? Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great. Thank you, brother.